beautiful scoliosis friends!
Welcome to my 5-day scoliosis challenge for the wonderful month that is June. It is Scoliosis Awareness Month, so I want to raise some awareness. I want to get us thinking about our scoliosis. I want us talking about our scoliosis. I want us sharing these videos with other people that have scoliosis and just getting us learning about our curves and loving our curves. This 5-day series is going to be about balance, stability and core strength. So we're going to be doing a variety of different things, including exercises from the Schroth method, exercises from yoga for scoliosis, exercises from Pilates, exercises in fitness and gym, and just a mixture of things because I love to keep it interesting, of course. So not just one thing, I'm multidisciplinary. So in today's class, we're going to be doing two things. We're going to be doing the Schroth walk and we're going to be doing some elongation using a chair. So of course, you are going to need a chair. I like having one with the back roughly in line with your hips, if that is possible, because we're going to be doing a forward fold. If you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know how much I love a forward fold. And I've just been at a retreat all weekend where we did lots of forward folds in different ways, and honestly, it's really simple, but I just find it's just one of the best things that we can do for scoliosis. So I'm going to start with that today. So the Schroth walk is going to be helping us a lot with our balance and stability. It's going to be helping us to hold ourselves out of our scoliosis curve. So that means basically when you relax your body, of course, you're going to sink into your scoliosis. So we want to bring ourselves out of that as much as possible, and then we're going to walk. So you might have done this before, especially if you're a part of my membership or you've done other YouTube videos of mine. We can do it together, so you can find yourself in an area where you just have an ability to walk a little bit. It doesn't have to be very far, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps. You know, that you don't need a huge amount of space. We won't be needing a mat today. Kind of like the slippery floor. But yeah, it will still work the same if you have a carpet. So before we get into the walking, we want to come into our standing scoliosis corrections. So you're going to want to elongate yourself and bring yourself out of your lateral bends, twists and turns as much as possible. So how I like to do that is starting with my feet shoulder width apart, pushing all 4 corners of your feet down into the ground, so you get that natural arch of your foot. Coming up through the legs, you keep that soft bend in your knees, so we never want to lock out your legs, especially if you have hypermobility. You're going to come up to your hips, and this is going to be different for everyone. It's going to depend on your scoliosis, if you have a hip shift, if you have one hip that is higher, but basically we want to try and get the hips stacked over your ankles so that we're not shifting to the side. We also want to try and get the hips so that one hip isn't really obviously higher than the other. And to bring that down, it really is just tiny little movement, pulling the hip down or maybe bending into the knees slightly. But I prefer it if you can just connect with your hips and try and move your hips to get that subtle adjustment. If that doesn't make sense to you, don't worry. Just try and keep your hips over your ankles so you're not shifting to the side. We're going to elongate the spine, so you can push your hands into your hips, get that elongation, but just make sure that you don't flare your rib cage as you do so. You want to think about sucking the belly button back towards your spine and lifting, getting nice and long through the crown of the head. We can keep the hands on the hips as we start because this helps to keep our spine elongated, which means out of our curve as much as possible. Then we're going to start our walk. So you're going to take a step forward. Let's go on the right leg, stepping forward, and you're going to come up onto your tiptoes. Now, if it's too difficult for you to come onto your tiptoes or you have ankle problems, please just stay down on your heels. If it's okay for you to come up onto your tiptoes, you take a big inhale, lengthen as much as you can, and then exhale, lower your front foot forward, lower your front foot down, and then slide your left foot forward. So like a little Michael Jackson slide. Then you're going to inhale, come high up onto your tiptoes. Think about getting really long, like you're reaching the crown of your head up to the ceiling without flaring through your ribs. Exhale, lower the foot down and slide. Again, you don't need to come up onto your tiptoes if that's too much. You can still inhale, lift and lengthen as you step forward. exhale, slide your foot forward. If you're coming up onto the tiptoes, inhale, lift, tiptoes, get as tall as you can. Exhale, lower and slide. We really are trying to move nice and slowly here. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, lower and slide. Inhale, lift, lengthen, get really, really tall. Exhale, lower and slide. Inhale, lift and lengthen, get really tall. Exhale, lower and slide. You're doing so well the whole time. Try not to let your hips rock. Try not to let one hip hike up. Try and keep your spine really nice and long. It's more difficult than it sounds. Let's get 2 more. Remember to try and move with your breath if that's not too complicated as well. But if it is too complicated, don't worry about it. Just try and keep your elongated spine. And then finishing there. Good. I'm going to come to the chair and we're going to do our forward fold. Of course, you don't have to do your forward fold if you don't like this one. If you followed my videos before, maybe try the arms up the wall instead. But I love a forward fold and I haven't done one yet today, so let's all do it together. We're going to have a chair or a table or a kitchen sink or something out in front that you can place your hands on that's roughly in line with your hips. Feet shoulder width apart. We're going to take a big inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling, and then exhale. You can have a soft bend in your knees as you hinge your hips and send your hips backwards. Here we have our hands shoulder width apart. We've got the back straight, so it's really important that you're not rounding into your back when you're in this position. Think of a deadlift. If you've been to the gym, we're doing a hip hinge. So we're working at folding from the hips. Sometimes it even helps if you have your hands there and you send your hips backwards. And in this forward fold, we just want to get some breath. So big deep breath into the back of your rib cage. And then exhaling. Can you get a little bit longer through your spine? Inhaling big breaths into the back of your rib cage. Exhaling, getting a little bit longer through your spine. 2 more. Big inhale. Back into your rib cage. Exhale, get a little bit longer. Send your hips back. Reach your arms forward. Like you're gently being pulled in 2 different directions. If you know where your concavity is, think about sending your breath there. 1 more big inhale and exhale. And then gently walking your feet forward, we're going to come back up to standing. Let's go back to the Schroth walk. So coming into your standing scoliosis corrections, you're trying to bring yourself out of your curve as much as possible, elongating your spine, sucking your tummy muscles in, and this time you can keep your hands on your hips to help keep your spine elongated, or if you're a little bit more advanced and you can hold yourself out of your corrections without your hands on your hips and you have a bit more balance, you can take your hands to your shoulders into the Schroth hand position. We're really active here, reaching the elbows away from each other, getting that expansion through the chest. We're not just chilling out like this. We're getting the shoulder blades back into the rib cage as well. So if you are taking your Schroth hand position, make sure you're staying really active. If you're holding your hands on your hips, that's perfectly okay as well. Work with your body and where you're at. Let's go. Stepping forward, we'll take a big inhale, come high up onto the tiptoes. Lift, lengthen, grow tall. Exhale, lower the front foot, slide the other foot forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen, get as tall as you can. Exhale, lower and slide. Inhale, coming high up onto your tiptoes, grow really, really tall. Squeeze your tummy muscles. Exhale, lower and slide. Inhale, coming high up onto your tiptoes. Keep getting that length. Exhale, lower and slide. Inhale, coming high up onto your tiptoes, getting as tall as you can. Exhale, lower and slide. Inhale, coming high up onto your tiptoes. Be aware of what your hips are doing. Exhale, lower and slide. We want to make sure that we're not letting the hips shift to the side or hike up. It really helps maybe if you do this in front of a mirror a little bit as well, just to see what your body does in this position. get 2 more. Inhale, coming up high onto the tiptoes. Exhale, slide. 1 more. Inhale, coming high up onto your tiptoes. Exhale and slide. Woo. Good. And let's finish off in our forward fold. So feet shoulder width apart. You're going to take your hands to the back of the chair or a tabletop. We're going to inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hinging at your hips, not rounding into your back. Send your hips backwards, reach your arms forward, and imagine you're being pulled in 2 different directions. Just gently, please don't yank on your spine, but you just want to get that elongation. And breathe here. Think about sending your breath backwards, up towards the ceiling. Using your breath to expand into your rib cage, those little intercostal muscles in between your ribs. And be aware with what your head is doing as well. Make sure your head isn't just flopping down towards the ground, because your neck is part of your spine and we want to keep it all elongated. Let's get 2 more deep breaths here. Can you get a little bit longer? And then after your next exhale, slowly bringing yourself back up to standing. Oof. Good, well done. I hope you enjoyed the Schroth walk and some elongation and doing your scoliosis corrections with me today. I do encourage you maybe do this again. Keep it going a little bit longer. And well done. I'm very proud of you for being here. I will see you in tomorrow's video.